Hello and welcome to Pints and Quarts, a show presented by Craft Beer Nation. Today is Thursday, May the 26th, and I'm Gil Mello, your host for tonight. And our guests are John Martin and Ken Broadhead from Confluence Brewing Company. They are moving and shaking things in the craft beer scenery in Des Moines, Iowa, and we'll learn all about them today. So pour a beer in the glass and get comfortable, and while the team music plays, would be a great time for you to subscribe to our iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube channel. So relax and don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
Time now for a look back at the last week in the craft beer industry. Pour a cold one and sit back for an all-new episode of Pints and Quarts, presented by Craft Beer Nation.
All right, we're back, and with me is my partner in crime here today, Freddie Rodriguez. How are you doing, Freddie?
Hey, what's up, Gil? What's going on, guys? Doing good, man. You know, drinking some good beer talk ahead of us. Lovely weather outside, so yeah, everything's 100%.
Awesome. And our guests tonight are head brewer, co-founder, president, keg washer. What else do you do? John Martins for the Confluence.
Man,
I put beer away today, and it's a grow, so.
We also have the Confluence co-founder, Ken Broadhead. I think you're also the event coordinator or something like that as well.
Yep.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Everything going on other than making the beer. So yeah.
Right on.
That's awesome. So.
Yep.
Yeah, so, well, thank you very much, guys, for being here tonight with us. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and so we can learn a little bit about you guys.
You're welcome, and thank you. It's fun.
Yeah, right on. So, can you maybe let's get to know you a little bit. You know, just tell us a little bit about yourselves, when you guys started, how you came about, how maybe you guys were introduced to each other, etc.
I had the fortunate endeavor to move to Iowa about 12 years ago, and I still work for a company that during the day that I came up for the job interview, and after the interview we were at Rock Bottom Brewery here in West Des Moines, Iowa, and this is 2004, right around February 2004, and after I was done with the interview, sat at the bar, had a burger and a couple of beers, and this guy sitting right at the bar, and we just struck up a conversation about beer in Iowa at that time was basically a Bud Light state, and you know, we didn't really talk about brewing beer or anything like that. We were both home brewers. We've both been home brewing for years from our college days on to that point, and John was technically the first friend I had here in the state of Iowa. So. After that, so you know, we could tell people all the time jokingly we met at a bar, which technically we did. It was a brewery. Yeah, so we literally did meet at a bar, and so we would homebrew for you know, Sunday afternoons or whenever we could get together. And John was involved with the local homebrew club, and I got involved with that. You know, being new to an area, meeting people and whatnot, and you know, as time went by, you know, things get a little foggy, but I think we were at an Oktoberfest party, and it was a rainy night. I think it might have been me that said, we're at the confluence of two rivers, and we kind of took that name and ran with it because no other breweries were called Confluence at the time. So, and then a few years progressed, and here we are. So that's the very, very, very short version. When I met John, he, I think, only had 5 kids. He has 7 now.
And we had 3.
3. Oh, that's 3. We both had 3 kids at the time. He went on and passed that number. And so we have very, very busy lives, and I still sit here and I'm amazed that after all this time, with all the kids and everything else going on in our lives, that made it this far. So, yeah.
I can only assume you have time to only breathe in between the brewery and family.
If I have more than one, like my daughter, I don't know. I would have to have cells on the house.
It is a challenge, but it's also exciting to see, our younger kids are getting older now, and seeing kids graduate high school and go to college and things like that. They have witnessed the brewery come about, and so it's fun to see that. But yes, as my dad used to say, time does fly by very fast when you become old, and it really does.
My oldest two, real quick here, they used to draw pictures of the brewery. So I would talk about how I wanted to open a brewery, and so they would draw pictures and things, and they would put the Confluence on it, and it's just kind of cool to see that happen. And then they'd ask me, so what percentage, Dad? What percentage do you think we're gonna do this brewery? And I'd be like, most of the time it's like less than 50%. And then as it got closer to like 2010, 2011, it was like, it's probably 60, 70%. And then at some point it became 100%. So they were pretty excited.
Oh, a brewery is an awesome jungle gym. I mean, I would love to be a kid in the brewery.
Yeah, definitely.
So you mentioned earlier, like you said, when you guys first kind of started talking, met at the bar, you said Iowa was more like an InBev kind of place. What's the craft beer scene looking like now?
It's really progressed a long way, and it's no small part due to the Full Court Press. They're a group of guys that own several themed bars in town. They've got the Bake Shop and the Royal Mile and Hessen House, and they really, for me, were an inspiration, and they brought beer that I wanted to drink to Des Moines, and I think it helped raise the awareness of what beer can be.
Absolutely, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was at, as I said, I was in Iowa just last week, and I stopped at the Cellar Peanut Bar. I think that was the name of the place.
Yeah.
And I thought so great. Yeah, they had, maybe 3 or 4 outside of Iowa breweries, and they had this huge line of taps, all Iowa taps, and I thought this is a pretty cool thing from a place to do. So I think that's it's a good help that place like that do for the state, trying to encourage people to drink their local stuff.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, here in the state of Iowa, we're very fortunate. We have 62 operating breweries or brew pubs here in the state, and that's a huge increase from where we were 5 years ago, even 6 years ago, when the state of Iowa changed the law for alcohol content that can be produced. Well, within reason, we couldn't produce anything over 5% that wasn't taxed sent through the state as a hard liquor and taxed at like a 45% rate or something like that. So
awesome.
that law alone, when it changed, allowed a lot of small facilities to open up and breweries to open up. So we're a product of that as well, having that alcohol law changed. Sorry about that. We have our
Life in the brewery.
Yep.
So Ken, how hard was to go from home brew to open a brewery? Because people don't know, but it's not like just a scale up. It's a whole different beast on its own, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's I think for me it was not being a professional brewer. I was just a home brewer, but I built my own home brew system and tweaked it and just kept refining it. So I had a really good understanding of how it worked and how I wanted it to work. And so, getting into the big scale, large scale stuff, it was fun. I thought it's like, wow, now I don't have to get inside my tanks and scrub them. I just hook up the pump when I run the Whirlybird and it cleans the tank for me. So that was really nice. But there is some scale factor. I was lucky enough to visit about 5 breweries in the spring of 2012. That was after I left my job, and we were finishing up all the financing and lease and everything. And got to brew several times on a large scale, and so that was nice to see how the pumps work and just the fluid process. But recipe formulation, that was another challenge. And I used to use Pro Mash as a home brewer, and I just basically had to wean myself from that and scrap it. And I now use an Excel spreadsheet, which Tyson over at Nebraska Brewing didn't give me the spreadsheet, but he recommended a book, basic brewing calculations. So I used that to develop recipe formulation.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So how big are you guys now? I think John said
Production.
20 barrels, and what's your production now?
Last year was just under 3,800 barrels, and this year we're shooting for 4,500 to 5,000. I would say we're on track, on pace with that.
So how far from Des Moines you can distribute?
We distribute to, basically we stay in Iowa, and we self-distribute. The state allows native breweries to self-distribute, which is a pretty awesome privilege if you want to
Absolutely.
exercise that right. And we're taking full advantage of it. We have 5 delivery vans, and we go up north to Ames, up eastern Iowa, Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Waco, Cedar Falls, western Iowa to Council Bluffs, almost right to the Nebraska border.
Basically all college towns.
Okay. So you have a good base support.
Yep, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
See, college
We
kids
want to become
better
the.
than I did.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. As John, I've heard John mention several times, I kind of want to be the new Columbus of Iowa. So there you go.
A pretty good model.
But we do have a lot of following in the western part of the state from the Omaha market that basically has to drive across the river to the bluffs to purchase our products. So, it's just kind of exciting. I mean, I don't know what the future is going to hold, but I know as the one that travels around and talks to people, I think the Omaha market could be someday a possibility, but it's yet to be determined if that ever comes about. But right now, we're in a situation where we're maintaining what we have now, and it's important to maintain the accounts and the communities that we serve now, and gradually expand from there. We have never, ever been worried to just do things for the sake of doing it. And we're going to do things, at times I think people think we do it at a turtle pace, but we're going to do it that way because I think it's the right thing to do. And same thing with the brewery. We people are always wanting us to do this and that, and we take a smart approach about that. And, a lot of that goes to John Martin here because if it was up to me, we would have been in debt many months ago. So
Part of it is it's expensive to expand. Stainless is expensive, and so you can get around it by contract brewing and doing other things. But the reason we started a brewery, I wanted to make beer, and I wanted it to be our beer, and not somebody else making our beer. So we could easily be in Omaha, next week if we wanted to, but we'd be selling beer to a distributor, and so we'd be trying to make more beer to sell it for less. And until we get the right size, it just doesn't make economic sense to me. I would love for people in Omaha to have our beer. I would love to be over there.
Nice, yeah, absolutely.
Son of love to craft beer in Omaha, so we want to be there. Eventually, we'll get there.
Awesome.
So I was actually browsing your website, and I was looking at the beers, and I see that excuse me, I see some pretty cool. So basically, I see some would look like maybe like growlers with some pretty cool labels. I see some corked and cage bottles. So what is the format that you guys look at that right on cue?
Yeah, the half growler is our format.
Those are awesome.
It's kind of a crazy format. Yeah. Nobody else, I don't think, is doing these right now, but there's probably people out there doing them, but not on the level that we are doing it. We set up and we'll fill out of our bright tank. We might fill 1,000 in a day, and maybe it's one or two different brands. And so we just offer those every week. We have accounts, a lot of Hy-Vees and other retail accounts order those from us and stock them on shelves. So it is a way to take Confluence home.
And this wasn't, originally this was not our packaging of choice. We were going to open up from day one and basically do cans. And one thing leads to another, and demand and supply, and this kind of satisfied our need until that day would come that we could can our product. And it's actually worked out really well because we haven't started canning yet, and we're 3.5 years into this project, and but we get asked that question basically every day. When are you going to can your beers? It will happen. It is going to happen. again, when I talked about the slow approach to everything, it's going to happen. I just can't tell you when.
It's like the
I'll
old
tell you,
adage, right?
hopefully it's
Good things come to those who wait.
That's right. That's right.
We actually purchased some more tanks. We put money down on those, and they should be here late summer. And we've got some construction to do before they show up. And then that should hopefully give us enough liquid to supply a canning line.
So what was in the corked and cage bottle? I see on the thing there. Just
We did. We started. Our first one was our special saison #1. That's like a 10% alcohol saison, just a really good guy.
Yeah.
And then we did the Belgian series, and that was really fun. We wanted to do the double, the triple, the quad, and we thought we should tie them together. So it took a long time to develop the concept and the graphics and stuff, but the Virtuous Endeavor series kind of pays homage to the monks that grew the Belgian Stalkers. And we've done a couple others.
Yeah, I want to make a quick. If you're listening to this, it's not going to matter. But if you're watching right now, when we put the lower third in front, we just so you know, and if you're watching, we have the names. Change it there. Actually, John is on the right and Ken is on the left. So if you're reading their names there, we're actually sitting them words in there. It was my fault. I didn't pay attention to that. But going back to the packaging, people don't know I mean, you have a minimal order of cans and stuff like this. It's not like everybody think you can just start canning overnight. It can easily be a $35,000 investment right away for the first canning. It's not a small thing.
Well, actually, it's more like $150,000 to $200,000 just for the canning line and all the accessories. You need a depalletizer and you got to put the 4 packs together somehow. So, and the first shipping of cans is probably $30,000. So it adds up pretty fast.
Yeah, and one of the other steps we made was we got a centrifuge system that is a separator for our beer that came in a few months ago, and that's been a game changer for us as well. That was something we needed for the stability of the beer before we did go into packaging. So.
Well, 10 barrels, that many of them. I see all this fermenter behind you there. That's a really good size for a 3-year-old brewery. You guys are, I think, because I have an opinion that the 15-20 barrel is where you make or break it. I think that's the size that you know if the brewery is going to stick around for a while.
Yeah, well, actually, we went to 20-barrel brew house, but we went 40-barrel fermenters. Just so we had the flexibility to brew 20 barrels into one, but we could also double batch each tank. And we started with 5 40-barrel fermenters, and that was in 2012. And in 2014, we added 5 more, effectively doubling our capacity. And then, like Ken said, with the centrifuge, not only does it clarify the beer and give it more stability, we also get more liquid into our bright tank, and we can process this beer a little faster. We used to wait. There was no filtering involved. We purchased a filter and used it about 5 times and said, no, filtering. Not a fan of that, but we just use time and low temperature to try to clarify the beer.
Yep.
Definitely takes time.
So let's see that bottle, Ken. You were showing the bottle there before there.
This is our anniversary porter that we made for our 3rd anniversary in 2015, and we'll be doing another one for obviously 2016. So, but we've done a series. We've done our Russian Imperial Porter, our stout, and cage bottles as well, and they sell really well in the Hy-Vee grocery stores, which is a Midwest chain of supermarkets that are really doing a great job in selling craft beer here in Iowa. We're fortunate in this state that we have a little bit more liberal liquor laws than a lot of states. The grocery stores can sell full-proof beer, wine, alcohol, where I know a lot of states have challenges with that. And plus the fact, we do have self-distribution rights, which allows us to not only distribute our beer, but we also distribute a couple other Iowa-made products as well. So it's kind of been a... Yep.
Cool. I just want to. I see you guys drinking. So I want to know, and I'm sure people are wondering themselves. So what are you guys drinking at the moment? Because I see Ken drinking one thing. It looks maybe like a porter or stout. I can't really see, but and uh, and John's drinking something else. So I'm just, you know,
Yeah, I've got our
curiosity.
Maibach. It's called Mayday Mayday Maibach, and it's released on May 1st. So there's that piece of the Mayday, but then it was meant to be a tribute to the fallen soldiers Memorial Day and all that. So Mayday Mayday,
Yep.
just dress call.
And I'm a stout and porter fan by nature, and this is our 5th season porter, and that we have
Oatmeal
on
stout.
oatmeal stout. Excuse me, stout. It's been a long day. And we have it on nitro, so it's a nitro beer.
Is that the
And,
takedown?
we always
Is that the
no.
take?
This is the 5th season. 5th
Oh, okay.
season, and it's similar, but that's a dry
Irish stout.
Yeah, and we try to have a nitro beer at all times in our tap room.
Nice. That's awesome.
We have usually two nitro taps.
It depends, 1 to 2. Right now we have the 5th season, and we also took our Thomas Beck Black IPA and we nitroed some of that, which is it really enhances that beer, I think.
So do you guys have a flagship beer, or everything just sells organically? Or
We
you
have
have a beer?
year-round.
Or do you guys almost like you know, do you guys corner yourselves and say like this is what we are, kind of like we're specifically like, you know, you have hot farmhouse breweries that just hold like, hey, check out my IPAs.
I will say we are, compared to any other brewery here in the state of Iowa, we have the biggest variety between stouts, lagers, IPAs. We run the gamut, really, and I think that's exciting for us to be in a metro area like Des Moines, which is the largest city in the state, to have that variety. Because if you come in our tap room, you're going to find something you like, or it means you don't like beer. And
Absolutely.
you know, we have, if for instance, look at our 4 core beers, our year-round beers, which is our Des Moines IPA, obviously. It says it all. It's a high hopped beer. Our Farmer John's, it's a multi-grain beer. Has wheat, oats, barley, corn, rice, rye, you name it, it's in there. It's going to be, you know, kind of our version of a wheat beer. We're not truly making a wheat beer like a lot of breweries do, but that's going to be our version. We have a black IPA, which is very popular, especially here in the tap room. It's unfortunate that a lot of our accounts don't take that because I think they just see black IPA and it kind of turns them off a little bit. But I think once they have it, they love it. And we have our Capital Gold. We're in the state capital of Iowa, and obviously we have a golden lager, and it's a Vienna style golden lager, and it's a nice, refreshing beer. And since we started using the centrifuge, it really changed that beer, and I love that beer.
Yeah.
And it's a change for the better with that centrifuge system. So those are our 4 year-round beers, but the guys here in the brewery are making, you name it. I mean, we got everything going on. We got saisons, we've got porters, stouts,
Quads, triples.
You name it.
Yeah.
Quads, triples, you name it. So
That's awesome.
We just started an English series again. We did an English series last year. I kind of joke about that because since we opened, I wanted to jump into an English yeast and do the, a pale ale and a ESB porter. It took us about 3 years to get there, but I'm excited to say today we brewed our brown. It's called our Brown's Woods Brown, and then we'll brew an ESB. I think we're going to do our milk stout with that yeast. We're running low in the 5th season, and we need to get that more of that stout.
When you make
Freddie, with your
when you make an English barley wine, let me know.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, we made sort of it's more of an American barley wine a little while ago, a couple months ago, and we really haven't released it yet. But we popped open a bottle the other day, and it's pretty tasty, I gotta tell you. But if we make a true English style barley wine, we'll definitely let you know.
Oh, I have a request. Hold on. Breaking news. I have a request. John, how did you name? Where did the name Farmer John come from? Like, what's the origin of this?
Well, truth be told, I am John III, John Thomas Martin III. So I grew up on a farm, loved it, my dad was a farmer. My grandfather was a farmer. Unfortunately, I never knew my grandfather, but it was a tribute to them and to the, just the Midwestern farmer, what all they do, and I really wanted to make this beer that had all those grains in it, just kind of celebrate all that bounty that we have. So it's like Ken said, it has malted barley, malted wheat, malted rye, and then flake corn, flake wheat, flake barley. So,
Awesome.
Hence multi-grain.
but yeah, that would be our first beer. And we didn't do a wheat beer because everybody does a wheat beer. So
Yeah.
multi-grain beer.
But
Well-
you'll notice, and probably like a lot of breweries you talk to, you'll notice with our beers, a lot of our beers are named after this area, or we use themes from this area. We're on a bike trail. Our brewery's on a bike trail, so we have a lot of bike visitors, bicycles, and one example is we named one of our beers the Rock Dodger because they have to come up a 50-yard path covered in rocks to get up here, and things like that. But a lot of our beers are named after this area. Browns Woods, different things like that. But the funny thing is, our Des Moines IPA is our flagship beer. That's the beer that is in basically every bar and restaurant that we're in. And we still get people that come up to us in festivals and go, where are you guys located? And I go, well, I think we're in Des Moines.
Yeah.
Alright,
hear
so we've been talking about
rumors
it.
are flying about Southside Citra. I don't know what that's about, but if you guys want to talk about that,
Yeah.
feel free.
Well, yeah, the Southside Citra, that's one of my favorites. That's a go-to after a hot day in the brewery. Price of Belgian Pilsner malt and some American Two-Row, and then a decent amount of Belgian Cara Blonde to give it a little body, a little bit of wheat malt, and then Citra hops. And it's very light touch on the Citra. And the reason I did this, two things. There was going to brew pubs for the last 20 years and trying the blonde ale and thinking, okay, it's okay, but there's nothing special about it. It's just beer, and I can kind of taste the English hops. So I was kind of intrigued. And I thought Citra would be a nice way to change that up. And at the time, we didn't have hardly any Citra. Maybe we couldn't shake two pellets together, but had enough to make a beer. And so, now we've got Citra coming out of our ears, but the idea was just a light touch, a nice refreshing summer beer. Yeah, definitely.
Well, big news for you guys. You guys were part of the lottery. You got drawn the lottery for SAVOR. If you don't know what SAVOR is, you should get informed about craft beer to start with. But SAVOR is probably after the JABF, probably the largest or the most prominent craft beer festival. It happens every year in DC, and what is awesome about SAVOR is that's not your normal beer festival. It's actually food and beer pairing. It's in an awesome venue in the National Museum, and Fred and I and a couple other will be there, and we'll be able to meet both of you guys. So, how excited are you guys about being part of SAVOR this year?
We're very excited.
Oh yeah. This is our second time actually. We were selected in 2014 as well. We won the lottery in 14, so this is our second appearance, and 2 times in 3 years. So kind of feel like a big winner here, Maybe I should buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
Even though it's a lottery, we feel very honored to be part of it. It's a big deal.
So was the year when you guys came down? Was that the year they did this? They tried to do New York, or they were in this?
I think it was the year after that. We were there in 14.
You were in DC.
Yeah, we were in DC then as well, and this year we kind of got a little bit more proactive, and we're doing a couple of appearances in a couple of bars in DC this year, which is a really nice thing to have our beer featured in a couple of prominent DC area bars like the Church Key and the
Nice, yep.
Lost and Found. So.
I think we'll be at Church Key at least one of the nights, or maybe a few times. So definitely, man. If you guys got to go down there, check them out, man. Drink some Confluence.
Yeah. So you guys doing an Iowa? I heard you're doing like an Iowa tap takeover. You actually have a special name for it, which I can't recall right now.
it's Iowa Apocalypse. That's what it's called, and it's at Lost and Found. So it's Peachtree and Green Valley Brewing and Confluence.
And all three of us got selected for, or won the lottery for SAVOR. So it's going to be on Thursday night there in DC at the Lost and Found bar, and basically it's going to be all Iowa beers on tap. So if anyone's in the DC metro area, please come out and check us out. John, myself, and John's wife, and our sales manager, everybody, we're going to be there. So
Absolutely.
we'd love to see anybody that comes up to us and say they saw you guys on this show. It'd be wonderful.
Yeah, we will have the Southside Citra there too.
So which beers are you guys serving in DC? What are your pairings in DC? Do you know?
The food portion, Ken can cover that. I'll cover the beers.
Go ahead.
I'll get Southside Citra and also our SAVOR Russian Imperial Stout.
Yeah, and I'll be 100% honest with you. I totally forgot what the food pairings were. But they looked really wonderful.
He will go. Absolutely.
But, yes, both beers are going to pair great. I mean, they're just totally opposite type beers that are going to do absolutely wonderful. And the cool thing about SAVOR is the big breweries, the small breweries, we all have two beers, and that is really a unique thing you see at a festival like that. And we're going to be next to Maui Brewing Company, and everybody knows Maui Brewing Company, but guess what? They have two beers just like us. So it's kind of cool to
equalizer.
Yeah, it's a great equalizer at SAVOR. So if tickets are still available, I highly recommend you guys.
So you'll be pairing the Southside Citra with octopus and bean salad, and then your I'm gonna butcher the name. Is Stavropol?
Yes, Stavropol. Yes.
Stavropol. So your Stavropol. Yeah. So that's gonna be paired with a smoked bison short rib. So.
Short rib is up my alley. Yeah.
Well, you guys wanna say some words? Anything else you want to add before?
Anything else you got going on besides SAVOR?
Yeah, any new releases
coming out? Any releases? Yeah.
Let's see. We've got our Long Ride Pale Ale. We released. That was a collaboration with Single Speed Brewery up in Cedar Falls, Iowa, and the Des Moines Bike Collective came by and said, "Hey, we want you to brew this beer." So we involved another brewery, and we're really excited about that one. It's going to be out at one of the either Church Key or Lost and Found. And typically, let's see, this time of year it's Southside Citra Blonde and Lukewarm Lager all summer long. And what else do we have coming up?
That's the summertime. Summertime is hot and warm around here, so we need all those light, refreshing beers like Southside Citra and Capital Gold and Maibach to get us through the summer. So then in the fall we'll be kicking in our winter stouts and porters and whatnot. We have our Oktoberfest coming up, and we'll have our Chewbacca, which is a very popular event around here just simply because of the name Chewbacca, which by the way is spelled differently than Chewbacca. But we have a Chewbacca Fest and all that good stuff. So we just got a lot of stuff going on. It's amazing to me how quickly time flies by, and we're right on top of stuff. And these guys here take care of the beer, and we take care of everything else. And we're just looking forward to the future and looking forward to exposure and PEC next week. It's going to be a great week to be in the area. I'm looking forward to meeting Freddie and everybody from you guys. And
Absolutely.
Just, it's going to be a great time. We're in Iowa. Make sure you stop by. And we're in a great area with other breweries that you can literally go down the bike trail and visit different breweries. So we'd rather see people on a bicycle than we see them in the car. So.
I can trip them over as they go by. Well, thank you very much,
awesome,
Ken, and thank you, John. I guess we're awesome. We love to have you guys on the show tonight. We really appreciate it, and so we had a great time. I'm sure our viewers had a great time, and I guess we'll see you guys on SAVOR.
See you next week.
Yeah. That sounds great. Yeah, ready to go. Thank you very much. This was fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And for all of you out there, don't forget to subscribe. Click on that subscribe there, man. And, make sure you subscribe also to our iTunes and Stitcher. Listen to our podcast, watch our shows. Make sure to check our quick beer reviews, and maybe soon we will be review some beers from Confluence Brewing Company. Well, till then, you guys have an awesome week. See you guys next week. We don't have our regular shows are not going to be on next week. We're going to be at SAVOR, so make sure to watch our live broadcast from SAVOR. You guys have an awesome night. Good night, everybody. See you next time.
Cheers, everyone.
This has been Pints and Quarts, brought to you by Craft Beer Nation. You can show your support for our podcast by subscribing to our content on YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, or our website, craftbeernation.org. Thanks for listening.